So the newest numbers from Border Patrol show an increase in arrests, and the highest number was in the Tucson sector last month. Now, Border Patrol has a special unit dedicated to search, trauma, and rescue. It's called Borstar. And right now we are joined by Team 12's Adriana Loya, who recently traveled to the Arizona desert just south of Tucson for an exclusive ride-along with Borstar agents. Really, Adriana, to understand what Border Patrol is seeing and how they are rescuing migrants stranded in the desert. So we appreciate you waking up early with us here to bring this to us. And it's been so hot lately. Shouldn't the hot temperatures really dissuade people from making that journey?
Well, listen, thank you for having me. You know, definitely the alarm clock was not fun, but it's fun to talk about this stuff that is happening because we just went to the border, as you mentioned. You know, we got this exclusive look in the middle of the desert where they're seeing a lot of these numbers. And based on my reporting and actually me myself growing up in the border, you know, people are always looking for better ways to, you know, have a better life. And we know that a lot of them think that they can have that opportunity here in the United States. So that's why they keep coming. But looking at the numbers, in 2013, they still think that they were actually lower. Looking at the numbers that the Border Patrol just released, they saw less people at the border compared to those numbers from last year. But the numbers actually jumped in July versus June, and that was just right after Title 42 ended. That's when they saw the numbers decrease in June, just a shy of 100,000. But not only did Border Patrol arrest more people in the middle of the desert in July compared to June, they've also had to rescue more people, some who turned themselves in, giving up just because they were just afraid to die. And that's what we saw during this ride-along. I talked to Jeremiah Lai, a Borstar agent, who said his primary task right now is responding to those 911 calls. And when they arrived, when we actually arrived there, they had just picked up a man. So take a look.
This guy right here called 911, said he was out of water and he was in distress. So we sent our guys up there and we picked him up. That same guy in 2 hours from now would be drastically worse. That the wash that he called from 4 days ago, I got a dead body like 300 meters up the wash. And it's a busy area.
That is just wild to hear the reality of these Borstar agents here. So when they find somebody like this, I mean, how do they actually save them?
Well, you know, this is why their work is just so important, you know, because a lot of the times they are trying to, you know, just to rescue them. And as you saw, the numbers went up in border apprehension. So that means that also the rescues have gone up, you know, and a lot of them have died trying to make this journey, as we mentioned. But, you know, Lai also showed us exactly the tools that they use to when they help somebody, when they meet somebody stranded in the desert. And a lot of the times, some of them are just on the verge of death. So these tools that they have are very important because that can help decrease the numbers, you know, just the toll that they are already seeing. So, you know, in these remote areas, they don't have any nearby hospitals, very deserted areas. So just to get the help that they need, they essentially have to carry it on their back. So take a look at some of the things that they actually use.
I keep one IV inside my cab and it's cooled, but then we have these tarps right here, and you can lay somebody in a tarp and then pour cold water. So I carry ice water in here, and you can pretty much make like a taco. Put them in the tarp, pour the ice water on them, and what it does, it doesn't let the water soak into the ground. It keeps them in that bath of water, and it will drop their core temperature down, and then we'll do the IVs.
Now, we got to do this right along just with Borstar agents, but we know that humanitarian groups also do this important work trying to save people's lives. And you actually were there just in May, right after Title 42 ended, right, Alice?
Yeah, actually, so I was there, and an interesting thing that the humanitarian group did tell me, they say, while crossing may not be legal, it should not be a death sentence, and that's something that they said is what drives them and that work out there. So, Adriana, anything else that stood out to you on your trip there?
Well, we actually also did see the remains of a human person who was actually at the, you know, had been reported missing for about several days. And just being there and seeing that and actually smelling the decomposing body is just very shocking to see, because that gives you a perspective on the toll this can take on a lot of people who are trying to make this journey. But, you know, all throughout the day, we're going to be showing you some of our reporting today at 6. You know, you're going to see what some of the agents, because we see that this issue has people coming here, but the other side of that issue is smugglers. And at 6, we'll show you some of the things that they are encountering when trying to prosecute smugglers. And then tonight at 10, I will talk to a man who also got lost in the desert and gave himself up, agents said, just hours before he could actually perish also.
Yeah, there's so many realities to what life is like on the border there. So Adriana Loya, we appreciate you waking up early with us. We'll get to watch more of that reporting at 6 and 10 o'clock tonight.